All right, so we are going to start in a seated position with your legs crossed, if that feels like a comfortable way to sit. So the other option that I would say is if sitting in a cross-legged position for a twist feels like it's a little bit long and a little bit much, then you might just choose to kind of sit side saddle with your legs slightly off to the side. But if it feels okay to be in a cross-legged position, and you might here choose to sit on one of your pillows, because that can be really beneficial to just create a little lift for the hips and let your knees and hips find some comfort. So once you've found your way into a comfortable seated position, first, we're just going to ground for a second. So find a nice tall lifted spine, let your shoulders soften down. And then if it feels good to do so, close your eyes down. And just give that little bit of time to get to your mat, let your focus come inward. And then just take a moment here to notice. So if you've just come in from your day, just notice if you still are feeling that sense of rushing or urgency, and allow that to just settle. Give a little time to let your mind quiet down, let your body slow down. And then just see if you can start to notice your breath. And you don't need to force or change your breath, but just notice your inhalation, notice your exhalation. And to just give that a little bit more time of settling in as you're paying attention to your breath. Start by just tuning into your nostrils. If you're breathing into your nose, notice maybe the coolness of the air as you breathe in, and then that subtle exchange in the warmth of the air as you breathe out. And take one or two more breaths here, just giving that your brain and your body a little time to settle in. And then before we move away from this place, take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice. Never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. And then with that intention set, right away notice. So if you were in that crisscross position with your legs and you're like, I don't want to stay here for another 6 minutes, you might choose to sit a little bit side saddle. So you might choose to just kind of swing your legs off to one side. That might feel a little bit more comfortable. Or at this point, you might choose to put a pillow under your butt just so that it feels like it's cushioned and everything feels happy. From here, we're going to take it right into a seated twist. So if you like the seat that you're in, you're going to rotate to one side. You might choose to just stick with a twist, but if you want a little bit more in your twist, you're going to add a side bend. So you're going to reach your hand up, and your hand is going to kind of rest on the side of your head with a little open palm situation. And then once you've got your handhold, you're going to lean in. So you're going to add a side bend, and I'll turn both ways just so you get the idea. So you twist in the rotation, hand comes to your head, and then you add the side bend. And then you only want to go as far as you can sustain. You want to make sure that you're breathing comfortably in this position. So if you opted for the side bend and the hand on the head, just take a nice quick assessment. Take a nice deep inhale. Nice slow exhale, and make sure everything feels comfortable. You should be able to be soft in the shoulders, soft in your jaw. And then just a gentle reminder, in our Yin Yoga practice, we come into a pose, we hold it for a period of time, try to find a little stillness. So let everything quiet down here. And you always have the option to come out of anything that's not feeling comfortable. So if at any point you feel like the side bend feels like it's too much, release and just come back to the twist. But if all is feeling good, eyes opened or closed, totally up to you. But see if you can just tune back into the physical action of breath in your body. You don't need to force or change your breath, but just notice your breath. So we're already halfway through our hold in this posture on this side. So just tune in and notice. If at any point that top arm becomes too heavy, you always have the option to release it, even if you choose to keep the side bend. You always have the option to release the side bend altogether. But if all is feeling good, allow a little time here to soften. Soften through your hips and your inner thighs so your legs are nice and heavy on the ground. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, if you're in that side bend, gently and slowly lift yourself back up, unwind. And as you come to center, just take a nice big breath and just feel that exchange of breath in your ribs and your belly. Cool. And then from here, we're going to take it to the other side. So you might choose to just switch the cross in your legs just for a little symmetry. If you were sitting side saddle, you might choose to bring your legs over to the other side. And if you sat for those 3 minutes and you're like, wow, now I could really use a cushion under my butt, maybe you take a pillow and place it under your bum. So any readjustments that you need. But then once you feel like you're there, we're going to rotate to the other side. You might choose to bring the hand behind the head or to the side of the head and then add that side bend. If the side bend is not for you, just leave that part off. But if it feels good to be there, find a comfortable position that you can sustain and then check in with your breath. Take a nice gentle inhale and just make sure that you're breathing in and out nice and comfortably. We're halfway through our hold on this side, so just do a quick assess. If that top arm becomes too heavy, you always have the option to release it. But if all is feeling good, just stick with that stillness. And then if your mind starts to wander a little bit, you just tune back into your breath, noticing your inhalation and noticing your exhalation. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly come out of that side bend. If you're bent over, rotate back to center, take a nice big breath and just notice that breath coming back into your body. And then if you need to, just kind of wiggle out your ribs, wriggle out your shoulders, and make sure you work out any of that dull ache that you may come across as you come out of the pose. Next up, we're going to move right into a seated forward fold. So I'm going to offer up just a couple of options for your props. You might choose to take your stack of pillows, place it on top of your lap so that you can fold over and have a nice little space to rest on. If you notice that you tend to be tight in the hamstrings and a little bit of support under the knees is beneficial, you might choose to take one of the pillows, tuck it up under your knees, and then the other one can come on top and you have a little buffer there. If you find that none of that is very helpful, but sitting on a pillow brings your butt up a little bit, that might be a nice way to go. So you have the option with your props to do the thing that feels the most comfortable to you. Whichever road you choose, you're going to fold over. So legs are going to be long but soft. So no need to effort in your legs. No need to do any hard work holding the legs in any sort of position. Let your toes be soft. You might notice that your toes turn out slightly to the left and to the right. And if so, let them do what they do. And then once you found a folded position that works good for you, invite some softness in. Soften through the back of your body, soften through the back of your neck. We're halfway through our hold in this posture, so just do a quick little check-in. How is everything feeling? Are you staying soft in your muscles? Are you breathing comfortably? And if all is feeling good, just stick with that stillness, allowing your mind to quiet down or just focusing on the breath if your mind is still wandering. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, you'll slowly start to bring yourself up. So gently lift up away from that folded position. And then just, if you were using your props, just take them up and out, set them off to the side. And then with your knees bent, maybe swish your knees a little side to side. And then if it feels really good to do so, we'll bring just a little fluid back into the spine. You might take some seated cat-cows here. Inhale as you lift your chest and exhale as you round your back. And we're just bringing just a little gentle fluid movement back into the spine. And then once you feel like you've kind of got that dull ache worked out, the next pose we're going to get into is extended child's pose, but it's going to be a slightly longer hold. So I'm going to offer you some options, and then you're just going to choose your own adventure, whichever you like best. So we're going to those legs around, big toes together, knees coming towards the outer edges of the mat, but back to the heels. You can take your stack of pillows, and this is a little bit more restorative and supportive. So you might choose to take your stack of pillows, place it right between your space of your knees, and then just lay over that. And that might be a nice way to go. But we are staying here a little bit longer. If you want a little bit more action for your shoulders, then the other option is going to be a thread the needle with a straight spine. So you're going to slip your right hand through, left hand is going to reach up towards the top of the mat, and then you're going to sink down. That similar situation as if you were bringing your arm across your chest. So that's the sensation that we're shooting for. And then I'll tell you to switch to the other side. So if you choose that variation, just know that I'll tell you 3 minutes is up, and then we'll switch to the other side. If you choose to stick with that stack of pillows, you might have your head turned one way, and then at the 3-minute mark, you might choose to turn your head the other way. So whatever road you like the best, go ahead and settle into that position, and then check in with your breath right away. Make sure you're breathing comfortably. Nice, easy inhale, and a slow but natural exhale. If you opted in for the shoulder stretch and then you got there and you were like, that's not for me, I would rather have the stack of pillows, just switch it up. Add the pillows, leave the shoulder stuff off, and enjoy your practice. But if it feels good to be there with the shoulder, just do a quick assess, make sure you're breathing comfortably. If you opted to thread your hand through, now's the time we'll switch. So go ahead and release that hand and switch over to the other side. So left hand's going to thread through. We keep that straight spine. Make as much space as you can for that arm, and then soften down. If you opted to keep the pillow stack, you might just choose to turn your head in the other direction. So whichever course you took, you just stick with that. Or if you like to switch it up at this point, you might opt for that. And then just find that softness again, tuning back into your breath, inviting some softness into your muscles best you can. We're halfway through our hold on this side if you opted for the arm thread. And if you did a half seat, this might be the time that you would change your arms. But if all is as it should be and you're just like the position that you're in, just keep sticking with your softness, softening through the back of the body, softening through your jaw, noticing your breath. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to come up and out. So if that arm was threaded through, go ahead and release it. And then with a little bit of slowness, come back up to a tabletop position and then slide your right leg back. We're just going to stretch out through the back of the leg. So take a couple of rocks forward and back with the toes curled under, just to feel a little sense of length through the back of the leg. And then switch to the other side, slide the other leg back, toes curled under, and then just give a couple of rocks forward and back just to bring a little length back into your leg. Nice. And then once you feel like you've kind of brought a little bit of blood flow back down to your feet, down to your toes, we're going to come down onto our belly and we're going to set up for a Sphinx part with the top half of the body and a tree frog pose with the bottom half of the body. So take a second to just kind of come down onto the belly, wiggle out your tush, make sure everything feels good. And then we're going to slide that right leg up into a bent position. So knee fairly in line with the hip, and then you choose what you like. You might choose to bring the foot in like you're in a tree pose, or you might bring the foot heel in line with the knee like you're in a frog pose. Not much of a big difference. It's just what's comfortable to you. And then the upper part of the body is in Sphinx pose. So elbows in line with the shoulders. And then once you've got your way there, you're going to invite some softness in. See if you can relax your glute muscles, relax the backs of your thighs. See if you can soften your shoulders slightly away from your ears. And then you have an option here to tuck your chin down to your chest if that feels like a better way to go, or you might choose to keep a slightly more neutral position looking forward. So that'll be totally up to you. But then check in, are you holding tension in your jaw or your cheekbones, and can you soften there? And do a quick little assess and just notice if you've picked up tension in your glutes, the backs of your thighs, or your inner thighs. Where can you soften? And more specifically, what we're shooting for here, as we bring that into that bent knee position, we're shortening our hip flexor muscles. So what we really want to try to do is chill out the muscles in that front hip crease. So where that bend is happening, can you at the very least find some softness there, like you're softening through your front pocket? Take one more breath here. And then slowly and gently walk your elbows wide so you can soften through the upper body, and then slide that right leg back. We're going to give the tush a little wiggle, get your heels a little wiggle just to kind of soothe out the low back. And then from this position, we're going to move right into our intense shoulder stretch. So right hand is going to reach out straight from the shoulder with the palm facing down. You're going to push into your left hand so you roll slightly onto that right shoulder. And then that might be enough. That might already be plenty of sensation. If it feels good and you want more sensation, then you might choose to roll over onto your hip and step your foot behind you. We're not staying here for the full 3 minutes. This is only a minute and a half hold. So if you feel like it's intense, but you can handle it for a minute and a half, awesome. If it feels better to roll back onto the belly, you do the version that feels safest in your body. Once you feel like you're there, if you can, let your head rest down, soften your right hand, soften through the front of your right shoulder and your chest. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly and gently, if you're rolled over onto your side, roll gently back onto your belly, slide that right arm in, give everything a little shimmy shake, make sure your shoulders feel good. And then we're going to move to that tree frog with the Sphinx on the other side. So you're going to prop yourself up on your elbows. You're going to slide that left leg up to that bent knee position. And then you choose your own adventure there. Choose to bring the heel in or line your heel up with your knee. That's totally up to you. And then once you've got the position that works good for you, you're going to invite that softness back in. Soften your glutes. See if you can find some softness in the low back. We're about halfway through our hold on this side. So just do a quick little assess. Did you pick up tension in your butt or the backs of your legs? Can you let those places soften? Can you think about where your front left pocket would be and soften those muscles there? Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly release. Walk your elbows nice and wide, lower yourself down, slide that left leg back, and then give everything a little wiggle. Shake out your bum, shake out your legs, make sure everything is feeling good. And then once you feel like you've worked out any of that adult ache you may have come across, we're going to move right into the intense shoulder stretch on the other side. So left arm is going to reach straight out from the shoulder with the palm facing down. And then here you might choose to just push into your right hand so your right shoulder draws up and back. That might be enough. This is called intense shoulder stretch for a reason. But if it feels good and you want that little bit more, you might choose to roll over onto your left hip and step your foot behind you, resting your head down if it's comfortable to do so. And then once you've got the variation that works good in your body, soften as much as you can. Tune in and notice your breath. Just make sure you're breathing comfortably here. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to release. Rolling back onto the belly gently, sliding that left hand in, give your shoulders a little shimmy shake. And then when you're ready, push your way up into a tabletop position. And then we're going to move right into our next posture. So toe stretch, but we're not going to stay there for the full 3 minutes. So toes curled under, you're going to just start by pushing your butt back to your heels. You might choose to stay there. You can take a pillow and tuck it in between your thighs and your calves, and it creates a little cushion so you can sit up a little bit. You might choose to leave that out. It might feel better to just be a little bit lower with your hands on the ground. So choose the version that you think is going to work the best for you, and then soften. Soften through the bottoms of the feet. Soften your jaw. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly and gently start to lift your butt away from your heels, and then release your toes and just give them a little wiggle. Wiggle around your ankles, wiggle your toes, mush through the bottoms of your feet. Make sure everything feels good and worked out. And then from our tabletop position, we're going to workshop our way into a pigeon pose. So I'm going to give you a variation with your pillows that might feel really nice and supportive. So start by taking your stack of pillows and just kind of bring it into the middle of the mat. And then you might choose to leave this part off if it's just not comfortable for you. But with your little stack of pillows, you're going to step one foot over like you were getting ready to go into a lunge position. And then we're going to sort of settle our butt down onto our pillows. But as we do that, we're going to walk the foot across the mat. So you're going to walk that right foot over to the left and then kind of lower yourself down. So your pillows are going to be up under your butt and under your hips. This might not feel great for everybody. So if it doesn't feel good, do not be afraid to just take those pillows and toss them off to the side. If you're there and it feels good, you're just going to fold yourself forward a little bit. See how that feels. And then if it's not right for you, you might choose to just leave the pillows off. You come into your full pigeon with the leg across the mat, other leg extended long, and you're folding yourself over. Other variations that you might like is to take it onto your backside into a figure four position. And then the other variation that you might like, just like we did our frog pose last week up against the bed, you might choose to place one foot up against the bed or the wall and then come into your figure four there, so you don't have to effort in your arms. So you can choose a variation that works good for you. Find the position that you can sustain for about 3 minutes. And then once you found your way there, invite some softness in. See if you can invite some softness through the outer edge of your hip. Soften your knees, soften your jaw, soften your shoulders. If you opted for the pillow stack underneath your hips, 2 pillows might be a little too high, so you might play around with the variations of just 1 pillow. Going to be different variations for everybody's hips. So you're going to choose the course that feels the best to you, and then you come to that stillness and soften your muscles if you can. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself up and out. So if you fold it over, gently walk yourself back in, lift back up into any tabletop or downward facing dog position that feels good, so that you can just kind of work things out. If you opt to come to tabletop, maybe you just bop your hips a little side to side, or slide that leg long that was bent just to bring a little length back into it. Or if a down dog would feel good to just kind of get a little bit of length through both legs, go ahead and lift up. And then when you feel like you've got all of that dull ache worked out, we're going to take it right back to the other side. So same thing on the other side. You might choose to take that stack of pillows, step your left foot in front of them, walk that leg across so that you get that external rotation. And then you just settle your hips onto the pillow. You've got that nice external rotation with the leg. And then you might choose to fold over into a depth that works good in your body. You might choose to take it into a figure four on your back. You might choose to take that figure four against the bed or the wall. And then you might choose that the pillows are too much and scooch them off and out of the way. So you choose the version that's going to work good for you. And then once you've got it, invite some softness in. We're halfway through our hold on this side, so just check in, make sure everything is still feeling good. You should be breathing comfortably. If your pillow stack became too much and you're not getting any sensation anymore, you might choose to move the pillows up and out of the way, or any other changes that might help you find good sensation, but just make sure you're breathing effortlessly. Nice slow inhale and a slow but natural exhale. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly bring yourself up and out. And then if you opted for that stack of pillows, you're just going to prop yourself up, toe heel that foot back into place, and then move everything out of the way so that you can find a little bit of length through the back of the leg. So you might choose to slide that leg back with the toes curled under and rock yourself forward and back. You might opt for a little down dog just to bring some length into both legs. Anything that works out that dole leg and feels good. And then once you feel like you've got it all worked out, we're going to start to flip ourselves around. So butt on the ground, and we are going to take our stack of pillows, finding our way into our broken fish position. So we're going to take our stack of pillows lengthwise so that we're going to butt them up right up against the tailbone. We're going to keep our tailbone off of the stack of pillows and then lower yourself back. Once you've got yourself there, you're going to choose which variation with the legs you like. You might like to extend the legs long and then just let them sort of fall into a soft position. So your toes might turn out to the left and to the right. If that feels a little funky to the low back, you might opt for constructive rest with the feet a little bit wider, knees bent, and then let the knees drop in towards each other. So what version of the legs? There's no right or wrong. It's just what's the most comfortable to you. What we're really focusing on here is that nice stretch through the front of the body. You're going to let your arms open nice and wide. And then just make sure your head and your neck feel like they're in a good and comfortable position. And then see if you can just come back to your breath. Slow, gentle inhale, and an even slower but natural exhale. We're slightly over halfway through our hold here. So just check in with your legs, make sure everything is feeling comfortable. If you opted for legs long and now you feel like a constructive rest might be the better way to go, you might choose to switch or vice versa. But if all is feeling good, just stay just as you are, maintaining that softness through the front of the body, letting your shoulder heads and your arms be nice and heavy. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to just draw your elbows in so that you can prop yourself up from your elbows and then gently lift yourself up and away from your pillow stack. And then we're just going to move that stack of pillows off to the side, somewhere you might be able to access them when you hit your Shavasana. But once you've got your pillows out of the way, roll your way back down to the ground and then just pause for a moment, knees bent and just allowing your spine to relax into the ground. So give a second to just let your body chill out for a second. Take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then when you feel good and ready, bring your right knee up into your chest, extend your left leg nice and long, and just take that knee in for a little squeeze. We're not gonna hold this for a long period of time, but we're gonna take it into a supine twist. So take that right knee over and across the body. Maybe let your right arm open out nice and wide, just finding a little spinal twist, and take 3 nice deep breaths here. Awesome. And then when you're ready, pull that right knee into your chest, bring the left knee into meet, both knees get a little hug. And then we're going to hold on to the left knee, let the right leg go nice and long. Supine twist to the other side. And again, we're not going to stay here for more than 3 breaths. We just want to bring a little twist into the spine after we did a back bend. So maybe your left arm opens wide, head turns to the left, and take 3 nice deep breaths here. Awesome. When you're ready, pull that left knee back into your chest, bring the right knee into meet. And then with a loose handhold, we're just going to take those knees, draw them in circles in one direction. And then draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Nice. And then set your feet down to the ground. We're going to toe heel the feet out just a little bit wider so you have a wide position, and then find some gentle windshield wipers here. So we're just dropping the knees gently side to side just to offer some soothing back into the hips, a little bit of fluid movement back into the low back. Check in and notice how everything's feeling. And then ask your body, where would be a really nice Shavasana for you? Would it feel good to take your pillows and tuck them under your legs to get a little bit of an elevated situation? Would it feel good to take a pillow and put it under your head? Would it feel nice to put a pillow on the belly and offer a little bit of compression to the belly? Would it feel good to walk your legs long, put a blanket on? Would it feel good to come to constructive rest? So many different variations. So just give your body a moment to come to the just most optimal comfort it can find here. And then once you feel like you've kind of got yourself set up, make sure your hair feels comfortable, your clothes feel comfortable, snuggle your shoulder blades in, make sure your tailbone feels happy. And then maybe you close your eyes down or just soften your gaze. Invite a soft heaviness into your body. Let your arms be soft and heavy, legs soft and heavy. See if you can let go of any tension you're holding in your belly, releasing the abdominal muscles, and then allowing your chest and your shoulders to be nice and heavy. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Gently wake up your fingers, wake up your toes. Maybe invite a gentle movement into your head and your neck, gently turning your head side to side. And then if you've got blankets and props, you might choose to gently remove them, placing them off to the side. If you had a bent leg position, you might choose to walk your legs nice and long, and then maybe take a big good morning stretch. Stretch your arms up and overhead, reach through your toes, reach through your fingers, and bring a little length back into your body. And then in your own time, in your own way, start to find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So you might choose to roll to one side or rock and roll up or whatever gets you there, but take your time as you come up. And then as you find a comfortable seated position, maybe Sukhasana with legs crossed, or you might choose to sit back on your pillows to have that little bit of a seat. Once you found your way there, we're just going to finish with a light little bit of breath work. So find a nice tall position with the spine, let your shoulders soften down, eyes opened or closed, totally up to you. But then take a nice generous inhale, just fill your lungs up as much as you can. And exhale nice and slow. On this next inhale, you're going to inhale, fill your lungs up as much as you can, and then hold the breath. And then exhale nice and slow. Next inhale, you're going to fill your lungs up. You'll retain the breath. And with an open palm, once you've got that held breath, retain that inhale and do 3 light taps to the chest. And then let your breath go. Inhale, fill up your lungs, hold the breath at the top, 3 light taps to the chest, and then exhale. And then we'll do that one more time. Inhale, fill your lungs up, hold the breath at the top, 3 light taps to the chest, and then exhale. And then on your next inhale, just gather both hands to your heart center. You can prayer hands or stack your hands, whatever feels nice to you tonight. Eyes closed or open, totally up to you. But take a nice deep breath in, breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and the time that you take to take care of yourself. And then breathe in a whole bunch of extra love and gratitude for those crazy cats and dogs who are delighting me through your entire practice. Ozzy was like, Yin Yoga's boring. I bow to you. I love you guys. He was cracking me up, but I couldn't say anything because I didn't want to